Well, let's hope this doesn't go horribly wrong. Okay, let's get the old housekeeping out of the way and then we'll get down to business, Duke. So please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit that bell icon for alerts on new content as and when it's uploaded to the channel. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. And going on to talk about support, please consider supporting the I'm Supporting Food Bank charity. This is doing shaking your head. That's not really going to encourage them, Duke. Um, please
I'm
think
shaking
about
my
putting
head
some.
at your segue.
Well, you do it then. Crack on.
No, no, no. Carry on.
There you go. Right. Okay. So back in the room. I've slapped him down and told him what he needed to do. Right. Okay. So I'm supporting Food Bank. You've put me off my stride, Duke. The just giving links there. Please consider putting your hand in your pocket. I know times are tough and we're all struggling, and cost of energy and all the rest of it. But this is a charity that helps out some families that are really struggling in the Newham Borough area, which is obviously the borough in which West Ham resides. So please consider giving them your support. And we thank you very, very much indeed for yours. We're here to talk about Matchday 4 of 38, Aston Villa versus West Ham United at Villa Park. Something's got to give here, dude. This is two poor teams that are in poor form. What are your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you, Rob. I'm worried. I am. Um,
Okay.
I'm concerned that you say something's got to give.
Hmm.
Um, I'm hoping it's David Moyes, and by that, I hope he gives into. I'm hoping he listens. I think there's a problem, Rob, and
Hmm.
we've become too predictable. We as a starting 11, as a tactics, as a setup, as how our game management. It's all become too
Hmm.
predictable. I'll get to a point where even a team as lowly, I don't know, as say, you can pick a League One side, mate. You know,
Hmm.
pick a League One side, and I can guarantee you that their manager would know our starting 11, would know our tactics and how we're going to set up, i.e., set up and take the game. Because it's become that obvious. Now, I'm really hoping with the signing of Emerson Palmieri, that changes now. As you know, you and I were discussing. Um, I think it was after the Stuart Slater game, after the Stuart Slater video, that we're both hoping that there's a change of formation now, a change in the way we play. Maybe a 3-5-2, a 3-4-3. I doubt it'll be. I doubt it'll be a 3-5, a 3-4-3, or sorry, 3-5-2, because he won't play two up front. We've witnessed that now. So I'm hoping that something gives, and we get a change in formation. As for the game itself, they concern me that they're wounded as well. They're a cornered, wounded animal in much the same way we are. It just depends on who's going to come out fighting first.
Yeah. I mean, I'm. I don't know whether again it's a bit like the game against Brighton. And I turned around and said it at the time, whether that the first leg against Viborg would turn out to be a blessing or a curse. And we know obviously which one of those two it turned out to be. Again, it may well be that players that took to the pitch, the likes of Skamaka, the likes of Johnson at right back, I wonder if they might be the beneficiaries of maybe David Moyes surprises us all and maybe does make a couple of changes. I'll be honest, I'm not expecting a formation change, but I am expecting maybe a few new faces in the starting 11 from previous weeks.
I mean, listen, right now, all we can do is guesswork, which is all
Hmm.
all very much that we do, all the channels when it comes to, our starting 11 predictions, etc. It's all guesswork because none of us are David Moyes. It's all guesswork and hope is essentially what it is anyway. So I really do hope that we see something different tomorrow.
Yeah, as Kent said, it's 3-15 wins for Villa. Tomorrow is about bravery and grabbing the game by the balls. Yeah, absolutely, Kent. And there's actually a little segment that I've got for any of you guys that are fans of the work of Kent Hammers. I've recorded a little bit that I've given him due credit for, but that's a little bit down the track. So you're hoping, you say you're hoping for a 4-3-3 or a change in formation. How likely do you think it is, though?
I think you'll see that. I think you'll see a 3-5-2. A 3-4-3-1-3-5-5 something. I don't know. There'll be. I think he'll go with. I think he'll go with wing backs. I think he'll go with wing backs tomorrow, and I think he'll approach the game differently. In that sense, I think what he'll do is we'll go with the wing backs and maybe he'll go 3-5-2. Maybe he'll maybe he'll have that change. Maybe he's listened. Maybe he's watched a couple of the videos. Who knows?
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, all will be revealed tomorrow. I mean, it's 2 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? So the team sheets get released an hour before at 1 o'clock. The shame of it is, it's not available in the UK. So we'll have to disappear to the south of France, me old mate.
I've got my teleportation device ready
Cool.
to take the whole pub to the south of France because I'm working. But yeah, I don't understand that for the second week running we're a 2 o'clock kickoff that doesn't get on TV when you have a look at the other two games that are on, just pieces of shit.
Yeah. Is there anyone from the game the other night that you would like to see get a start that maybe doesn't ordinarily?
Yeah, the two new boys, mate, to be perfectly honest with you. Skamaka and Cornet. And I'd rather see Cornet start in his natural left-sided position. Stop dicking around. Stop putting him on the left. What I'd actually like to see is Cornet left, Bowen right, Skamaka up top. But in the hole behind Skamaka, I want to see Ben Rama.
Okay.
Boom. There you go. Andy says it. I'd like to see Saeed Ben Rama sat in the 10. I'd like to see to be Rice Fornals, Rice Suchek, Rice Downs. I think we know what's going to be there. That's why I think if he goes 3-4-3, you're going to see Emerson at left back, or even 3-5-2, 3-5-1-1. See, it's really difficult. If he's going to go 3-5-1-1, then you're going to probably see Cresswell at left centre back, Tilo Kehrer, possibly Ogbonna or Azuma.
Which one of those
Palmieri.
That's going to be an interesting one. Well, I think it's going to be an interesting one who David Moyes chooses, whether he goes 3 at the back or whether he goes 4 at the back. Because I just look at it and go, well, you've got sort of like a 34-year-old Ogbonna coming off of a 9-10 month layoff with an ACL, or a good few years younger Kurt Zuma, who I think it's fair to say since the beginning of the season has looked like he's got an injury. So it'd be interesting to see which one he chooses, which one he thinks is the better option of the two.
Well, for me, For me, I would go with Ogbonna. And the reason I go with Ogbonna, and I very, very much agree with that, very much agree with that, um, which means Fulham 1-0, Rob.
Nice.
Fulham 1-0 over Arsenal. This is an amazing day. Did you see the Liverpool? Anyway, we're not talking about that. I'd actually go with Ogbonna. And I'd it's got to be Zuma getting fit now, Rob. You can't keep fucking around with players' injuries and fitness. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I get the early part of the season. I understand, Brighton, Forest, City. I get, or even Forest and City playing a half fit Zuma because you had fuck all else. But you've not got fuck all else now. I know he's only played two full games since he's come back, Ogbonna. But we're going to need now we need to manage Zuma. And if Zuma's not fully fit, and by that I mean 100%, don't play him. Please don't play him because you're putting a 25 million pound investment.
Mm.
That's the way you've got to look at it. You're putting a 25 million pound investment at risk, but you're also putting the lad's career at risk that he could do more damage, and that's not fair. You have
Yeah.
options now. You have options now. You've got Carey, you've got Ogbonna. If you want to go five at the back, three at the back, wherever you want to look at it, you've also got Cresswell that can play there. You know.
Yeah. No, that's fair assessment, mate. Just having a little look at the comments.
Oh, yes, I called this earlier when I had a look at the United side that was lined up, and I had a little look at what was on the bench. I said quite loudly in the middle of my pub, I would take Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka. I tell you what, there's one player that I'd definitely take on loan from that club. I know he didn't do a great deal at Everton last year. I just don't think anyone playing at Everton last year would have looked very good. It's Donny van der Beek. Seriously, how are you not using that kid? He is an outstanding talent. But there's three there I would have taken from United just off of their bench.
Really? Who else?
Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw.
Yeah, Luke Shaw. Yeah, I would. But obviously now that Palmieri's come in, that's not going to happen.
No, I know. But like Ken says, that Wan-Bissaka. No more, Andy. No more, please. Please.
Was it a bit messy yesterday?
Dear God. Yeah, it was. We had a little bit of a kick-off as well. I had to deal with that. Not me and Andy, but a couple of Millwall fans in the pub decided they were going to get just a bit trappy with each other for whatever reason, and the West Ham boy had to step in after one of them had got jawed by the other one. And I just turned around and said, right, enough's enough, boys. Sit down, have a beer together. Let's talk it out. I'm not going to bar anyone, but let's act like grown-ups, can we? And then 5 minutes later, I'm putting on the Cockney rejects. I'm forever blowing bubbles to fuck them all.
Right. Okay. Let's just have a little look here. I've got the information on the officials. So we've got the referee is David Coote. The assistants are Nick Hopton and Timothy Wood. Fourth officials Anthony Taylor. What a joy. VAR is Michael Salisbury, and his assistant is Simon Bennett. Can't really think have we ever had David Coote reference? I guess we must have done, but he doesn't easily
the
jump.
Only one there that makes the jumps out at me is obviously Anthony Taylor. The rest of them, the other ones I don't have a clue. I'm just really pleased that I don't see some of the toss pieces in there that have been there before. Mr. What was his name? The one that's just retired. I think.
Mike Dean.
Mike Dean. You haven't got Dean in there. You haven't got the guy that was on VAR when he sent off Souček for the elbow on Mitrovic a couple of years ago. We had him earlier in the season. Hi, Elliot. Well, thankfully we haven't got him tomorrow, Kent.
It's only Arsenal. Doesn't bother us.
No, exactly.
Right.
Coming back
Okay.
to earth, with a bump, though, aren't they?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, since I recorded it earlier, I recorded a couple of videos earlier because I wasn't entirely sure how my internet was going to hold up, ladies and gentlemen. So I did have a little plan B that if I didn't make it, I recorded a couple of videos. Stuff it, I'm going to use them anyway, Duke.
I was just saying they're there, mate.
So now I got to try and interpret what Steven Gerrard is going to do, and this is a manager as same as David Moyes. He's coming under a little bit of criticism and a little bit of pressure. So I suspect he will go with the same 11 that started the match against Crystal Palace, which was a game that they obviously went down to a defeat. I suspect he will go with Martinez in goal, Argentinian international, cracking goalkeeper. Goalkeeper that maybe a year or two ago I'd have been quite happy to get in, but we've obviously got Areola in, so I'm reasonably happy with that signing. He'll go with a back four. Luca Digne will be at left fullback and Matty Cash will be at right fullback, with the centre-back partnership will be on the left, Tyrone Mings, the former captain now, and Esri Konsa, who, interestingly enough, is from the London Borough of Newham, so a little connection to West Ham there, very tenuous though it may be. It will then go with a midfield three. At the base of the three will be Bubakar Kamara, the summer signing, and then Jacob Ramsey and the new club captain John McGinn will be either side of him. And then we come to the attacking trio, which will, I suspect, be Emi Buendia on the left, Leon Bailey on the right, and through the middle will be Ollie Watkins. No place on the starting 11, I suspect, for Philippe Coutinho. But it may well be that Buendia drops out to possibly accommodate Steven Gerrard's former Liverpool teammate. But that is the 11 that I suspect that Steven Gerrard will go with tomorrow at Villa Park.
There you go. I thought I'd recorded it, and it gave me an opportunity to refill my glass of water.
Can I ask you something, Rob?
What did you make of the Villa lineup? Is there anyone there that you're...
Sorry, my pub's just gone absolute batshit downstairs, so I'm guessing someone has scored.
Oh dear.
I've just got it on camera, and I've just watched everyone go batshit. Oh, 1-1. There we go. Can I ask you something, Rob?
Fire away.
How does a team that has some very, very good and fantastic quality players in it struggle so often and whatever in the league every year? I mean, of that front three, right? Buendia, Watkins, and Bailey, right? For me, all three of those could get in our team, right? All three of those could get in our team. Maybe take a change of formation to do so, but all three of those could get in our team, right? I personally think that Bailey would, at the right team, give Jarrod Bowen a run for his money. I think Buendia walks into our team on that left-hand side. I think Ollie Watkins, pre-signing of Scamacca, would walk into our team. I'm a big fan of John McGinn. I think he'd be a fantastic player for us. I'm a big fan of Ezri Konsa getting our team. So I just don't understand. And maybe you could probably say, is it their manager? Is it, or even managers, because plural before Gerrard walked in on the scene? But what's going on there? Why do they struggle as often as they do when they've got, in my opinion, some very, very good, very quality players?
Possibly the pieces of the jigsaw don't always fit. They might be a pretty piece of a jigsaw. They might be a big piece of a jigsaw, but they're different pieces of different jigsaws. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they just sometimes they just don't work. No matter how much you want them to. I mean, it's like you remember the Galacticos, you remember Real Madrid. They just went out and bought all of the best players, but the best players don't necessarily make the best
No,
team.
they didn't. No, they didn't. See, that's an absolute misnomer, isn't it? That they went out and bought all the best players. Because I can tell you, Steve McManaman was not one of the best players in the world when they bought him. Jonathan Woodgate was most definitely not one of the best players in the world. In fact, I'm going to give you
Ronaldo,
one more name.
Roberto Carlos.
Hey, listen, those ones were. I'm going to give you one more name, Robert. Okay, one
Go
more
on.
name to throw at you that was part of a Galacticos team was Julian Falbert. Julian Falbert
There's
cannot
always
be
the
considered a Galacticos. Well, he fell asleep on the bench. I think that's about as close as he got to playing for Real Madrid, wasn't it? Bless him.
you know the point I'm trying to make. Sometimes
Yeah.
you can get players that on paper you look at and go, well, they're fantastic players, but they don't necessarily gel as a unit.
But then that's up to the manager to get the best out of what he's got.
Maybe, maybe. But anyway, well, Ken, since you're in the chat, I hope you're still there. I did ask for Kent's permission, and Kent
I know,
very,
I
very
saw.
kindly gave me permission. So I've done a little recording, and this is an opposition watch, courtesy of Kent.
Now, this is an opposition watch that Kent Irons, very, very important supporter of the channel, Kent Hammers, has put together for me. So I give him due credit for this. This is not my handiwork, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what Kent Hammers opposition watch contains. He's focusing on three players and then gives his opinion on how the game will unfold. And Kent knows his stuff, let me tell you. So, first player he's going to focus on is Ollie Watkins, and some of his strengths are that he's quick, he's strong, he can play across all of the front line, left, right, or through the middle. He won't give the defenders any peace. He will be an absolute pain in their backsides for the whole time he's on the pitch, and he holds the ball up very well. Bubakar Kamara, now he is young, he is raw, and he is new to the Premier League, so that could be both a strength and a weakness, in fairness. He is powerful and he is very good in the tackle. He can play at defensive midfield or at centre back, so he's got a bit of versatility there. And he's also a very, very good passer of the ball. Finally, we come to Matty Cash. He is an attacking right back or right wing back. He is really good going forwards and he has good pace, and he is also a good one-on-one defender and has a good delivery from the wide. And Kent goes on to say that this will be a tough game for West Ham. We can't sit back against Villa and we must try to attack. But we also need to make sure that we don't overcommit. The transition of play for both teams will be key, and the midfield battle will also be key, as it always is in every game. So, Kent, appreciate your help there, mate, and your continued support of the channel. Thank you very much.
I hope I did you justice there, Ken. I hope you like that little piece that I've put together from yourself. So, those three players that Kent mentions, first of all, do you pretty much agree that they're the ones that we need to keep a very close eye on if we're going to maximise our chances of getting a result?
Yeah, I mean, listening to you talk about Buendia there did remind me of Felipe.
I don't know if you've dropped out or if it's me.
No, I'm here. Anyone in the chat? I'm here. I can still hear you, Rob.
Right. Okay.
You are very.
I got a funny feeling my internet's dropped out.
You're very fuzzy on screen. I will save the joke for when Rob gets back. He looks like he's frozen a little bit now, so I'm going to crack on with.
Well,
oh no, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I've dropped out, which I think I have because there's no comments that are coming through.
I can still hear you, but I can't see you, Mr. Rob. They're saying that you've frozen.
Am I on my own?
No, you're here. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to. There he goes. He's gone now. We're going to turf him for a minute. So we're going to come back. I'll do this. With regards to what Kent has just said, I just think that we're gonna have our work cut out. As Kent says, it's gonna be a battle. We've got to try and figure out where that line is of breaking forward and getting out from the back, but also we're going to have to be very, very careful. They break with a lot of pace. They've got some of the very, very quick players. The last thing I want to see us do is commit too many men forward and find ourselves in a situation where they come back at us, Matty Cash and everything else. It could very well be a tough day for our back line tomorrow. I do believe, now, you've got to bear with me. I'm not used to doing these on my own. I'm not overly confident with just me sat here in front of a camera on my own having a conversation with you guys in the chat, but essentially myself. So I know that Rob did put together a video for our starting 11. So I'm going to chuck his video up now for his prediction of the West Ham starting 11.
So now we come to the prediction of the West Ham 11. I suspect that David Moyes will select. I think he's going to go with Lucas Fabianski between the sticks in place of Alphonse Areola. I think he's going to set up with a 4-2-3-1 formation, rightly or wrongly. I think left of the back four will be on debut Emerson Palmieri, although it wouldn't shock me to see Aaron Cresswell retaining his place. We know that David Moyes likes to ease new players in gently, usually. Angelo Ogbonna, I don't think it's much of it's a bit of a close call between him coming back from an ACL injury at his age of 34 against a Kurt Zouma that's struggling with injury quite clearly, but I suspect that David Moyes will retain Kurt Zouma as the left-sided centre-back alongside Thilo Kehrer. On the right of the back four, I think that it's fair to say that Kufau's not done enough to really nail down that right back starting berth, and Ben Johnson did all right against Viborg, so I think he will retain his place. And then the double pivot will be Declan Rice with the armband, and I think that perhaps the assist and the goal against Viborg might have just done enough to convince David Moyes to retain his starting place in the 11. On the left of the attacking midfield three, I suspect it will be Saeed Benrahma on the left. I think it will be Jarrod Bowen retaining his place on the right. I don't think Maxwell Cornet did enough to put pressure on Jarrod Bowen to be dropped out from the 11 completely as far as David Moyes is concerned. And I think it may well be Pablo Fornals as the number 10. As for striker, I think that Scamacca's done enough to retain that jersey. I wouldn't be surprised, though, maybe to see Antonio starting. Again, we know that he likes to keep trust and faith in his generals, and Matteo Antonio is certainly one of them. It could also be that maybe Jarrod Bowen does drop down, and maybe Matteo Antonio drops to the wing to replace Jarrod Bowen. Who knows? It'll all be revealed an hour before kick-off tomorrow at Villa Park.
And you're back. Are you back? Is this just a screen still? Oh no, it moves. It moves.
Can you hear me?
Kind of, yeah. I can see your pretty face. I can kind of hear you. No, you're right. You're good.
Yeah.
Whilst I disagree with your formation now, one thing I did agree with, Rob, is that you saying there you wouldn't be surprised if you see Aaron Cresswell still at left back, if you see Antonio still up front. Moyes' comments of saying that the players aren't ready.
Just sorry to interrupt, Duke. Just on that point that Hammerhead's making, the point I was making, Hammerhead, is that Cornet played on the right against Viborg. I know he's not a left winger as such, but he did play on the right the other night.
Yeah, and listen, we all would have seen that. I don't know. He's not a right winger, and I don't think he is a right winger. But he has played on the right a couple of times. He came off the bench, I believe, against Forest, didn't he, Rob? And he played right back. He played on the right wing against Forest, if my memory serves me. So he has been known to play there. I don't think he's far off, Kent, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know that he's going to, I know he has his favourites. I know that he wants to use his favourites. I know that he's stubborn like that, Rob. He keeps saying that the players aren't ready. He keeps saying that, they're not ready to be coming in. Well, I disagree. I'm not being funny. He's a £36 million striker. If Scamacca's not ready to play, don't spend £36 million on a player that you should be ready to walk in your team. I'm not being funny. If you have a look at the other teams out there, these players are in their starting 11s. The ones that they bought, they're in their starting 11s. The only ones that aren't are because Forest have bought 19 players and are unable to. Thank you. They bought 19 players and are unable to to be able to fit them all into their starting 11. That's the only reason that some of their new players are not starting.
Yeah.
Slightly off topic again, Rob. Do you feel? Obviously, he's not in your starting lineup tomorrow that I saw.
Yep.
Obviously, I think we've discussed this. I actually had the conversation with Andy. So for those that don't know, myself and Andy met up for a few beers yesterday. A few beers being a lie. We actually had the conversation around the fact that obviously I think we can only sign two more players now, Rob. That fits our 25-man squad. Okay. From what I understand, outside the remit of any of these players that are born and trained and everything else, we can only sign two more players. Well, we are in the process of looking at two or three, because for those who would have seen just a few, what's she on about, woman? For those that have seen, obviously the Paqueta deal is very close to being done. I believe it's his 25th birthday today, and I believe he flew over and had just a few beers. Yeah. He flew over and would have had his medical booked in for today. Well, one of those names on there, Hammerhead, isn't one that I've seen us linked with. I've seen us linked with two of them. Gilmore's the one that we're not linked with that I've seen, but we're linked with Januzaj on, the old United striker winger that Moyes gave his debut to. Now, if that's the case, Rob, and Paqueta comes in, which looks like he's going to, who makes way out of the squad?
Well, it's funny you should ask that. I don't know if you've seen this, and I'm guessing from the framing of the question, you may not have done. But there's a story doing the rounds that Newcastle are looking at signing Harrison Ashby for $2.5 million.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Now,
well, he won't be. Listen, he won't be part of the 25 because he's obviously homegrown and home trained.
No, that's true. But I saw that just before we went live, and I just shook my head. I was just like, "Oh, mate, seriously."
If the club allow that to happen, there'll be riots, absolute riots. Okay, Ashby, as we know,
I don't think it will be as bad as we'll be sort of like standing at the gates of London Stadium, burning placards and stuff like that. It won't be like that. But do I want to lose Harrison Ashby? No.
Well, I actually said of the players of the playing squad that are not home trained, homegrown, or whatever you want to call it, there is one that I can see going, because I'm telling you now, I can't see him playing if we bring in Paqueta, if we bring in Conor Gallagher, who was
going there
on the list. I'm going there. I'm going there because she's going to end up watching it and I don't care. I can see us letting Lanzini go before the end of his contract, Rob.
Clips.
I can see it being Lanzini the one going. Clips, good evening. Oh, Kent in the chat. Clips. We have royalty, YouTube royalty. I can see it being Lanzini. Yeah, that's a great shout, Kent. Great shout saying that. Januzaj would be. Januzaj's considered homegrown, Rob. That's a great shout. I never thought of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Great shout. And then obviously so would Conor Gallagher. So actually, yeah, we could still sign all three and it wouldn't be a problem.
Here's something as well. Joan, you're not considering that Clips might be a female. Nobody knows.
It's nice to see Rebecca in the chat, actually, saying that.
Do you reckon Rebecca's Clips? What you're saying?
Or Tom.
There you go.
Rebecca
Hammerhead reckons.
Oh, someone's got to drop another name in. Look, I love it. I love it. I love it. And Clips is like, no, not doing it. No, look, he's...
And Clips is playing along. Like it.
Clips loves it, doesn't he? Clips loves it. And we love Clips.
Actually, if you haven't now buggered off, I did send you a message a little while ago, and that because I want to try and get you on. I want to try and get you on that thing I did with Russ the other day. Actually, the Mount Rushmore thing. I think that could be quite fun.
Apache's come in with a good one. I quite like this one. Apache's come in. He thinks the Clips could be James Collins himself.
Ooh. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe it's Sam Allardyce.
Please don't. Look, we've just got Clips on. Listen, he ain't going to come on the channel now. You've just called him Sam Allardyce.
No, listen, I'm just throwing out a theory. You know, as Joan says, we've all got our own theories. And it's fun that we're all sitting here going, oh, it's this person. And I think most people suspect that Clips is the male. But I'm just, like I say, as I said earlier, well, might not be. Could be a female.
Very much so.
Alan Pardew? Hammerhead's got Alan Pardew.
I won't lie to you. Can you imagine if it is actually like an ex-player? Or, you know what I mean? I think that'd just be outstanding. Make my day. Have you frozen again? Oh, no, you're back. You're kind of wobbly.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's all right. It is a little bit concerning. For those of you that don't know, I'm on a little break away from home, so you might have gathered by the surroundings. So.
Yeah, the poster in the background that tells you not to turn the heating up too high or whatever it is on the wall there. Yeah, I can tell.
Tell you what, though, and I won't sort of like reveal my location just at this moment in time, but put it this way, I'm far from home, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful here. Seriously.
Well, listen, if you do decide to move down...
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Yeah, I never thought about that.
If you do decide to move to that neck of the woods permanently, you're going to have to invest in some better internet.
Yeah, clearly. But Hammerhead reckons that Clips is Russell Brand, and he likes my kit. I can't remember if this was the away kit or the third kit in season. I think it was 98-99. And so you'll like this. I think you've seen this. You see that?
Yes. Love it.
I thought you
That's this one here. That's this one here, Rob.
That's it. Got to try and get him on the channel.
Man. Loved meeting that man. I was talking to Andy about it last night, actually, Rob. About getting Dixie on the channel. He doesn't like doing things over the computer and stuff. It took it took Russ over a year to get Dixie onto my Hammers 11 because he was very much, he doesn't like this kind of setup.
We're going to have to go to America then.
I would listen. I have no problem with jumping on a plane and going to see that man out in the States.
Goal for Arsenal. Larry's just giving us the heads up. It's 2-1.
86th minute, I think it is, Rob. 85th, 86th minute.
Was it a 4-2 defeat? I thought we got. Was it 4-2 or 4-0? I know they scored 4, and Dixie was led a merry dance that day. Absolutely shredded.
But this broke my heart.
2 sort of like knee injuries, one of which would have probably ended the career of someone less determined, and he came back from it twice. All right, the second time he was a couple of games in, and you were like, this isn't working. But before we get on to the next little clip toy that I've done, which is my score prediction, and we'll also get your
another goal.
You guys, what
another goal? I don't know whether it's an Arsenal goal because the same people that were jumping up screaming like a bunch of prats at 2-1 have not jumped up now. So unless it was VAR and it's still 1-1.
Chalked off.
Right, okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joan, I don't like that kit. I don't like that kit. Yes.
Loved it.
No goal. There you go. I don't. I mean, dude, I think you like the kit, don't you? The third kit, the sort of black.
Love it.
No, not for me.
Love it.
Not for me. Oh, hang on. Ken's just come back and gone 2-1 up.
2-1. No, I've just come up on mine 2 minutes ago. Apparently VAR checking for possible handball, but it stands. Incredible.
Okay. Fair enough.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm going to use the last little clip before my internet gives up. This is a recording I made earlier today where I basically go into my score prediction. So you guys in the live chat, get your score prediction in as well, and then Duke will give his one afterwards as well.
So now we come to the part where I've got to put my head on the chopping block and make my score prediction for the game tomorrow at Villa Park. Now, I don't think that this will be an easy match. I mean, this is 2 teams that are in pretty questionable form, it has to be said. 2 managers that are under a great deal of pressure. I suspect that it will be a game where we have to really dig deep and it's all hands to the deck at certain points. But I think that our better quality, our better experience, if you will, of Premier League football and some players that have played at a higher level, quite frankly, over a longer period of time will come to the fore. I suspect that we will be 2-1 winners. Like I say, Villa will push us, but I suspect that if my starting 11 is the one that David Moyes selects, or at the very least if Gianluca Scamacca does indeed start, I think he getting in and amongst the likes of Tyrone Mings, Ezri Konsa will be absolutely critical, and I suspect that he will play a key role in what I hope will be 3 points for the Cockney boys tomorrow at Villa Park. Here's hoping. Come on, you Irons.
There you go. I'm going 2-1 West Ham.
Just before I give my prediction here, Rob, I just want to read this. It's come up on Sky Sports for the Arsenal game, okay? Now, I want you guys to bear in mind of the rules.
I'm sure it's just
okay. West Ham against, I think it's changed. I get that. West Ham versus Sheffield United. Declan Rice running through, ball hits his hand, goes through. We score, disallowed. Man City, Tottenham. I think there was a goal that Tottenham scored, but it was considered to hit someone's hand on the way through, disallowed. Now I know you're going to say the rules have changed, Rob, and we saw and Satsuma's clips. Do you like Satsuma's? There's a question for you.
And you watch wrestling much?
And do you like Danny DeVito? Yeah. Just asking. So this here is VAR has checked the goal for Arsenal. The corner comes in. Leno completely misses it. VAR checks for possible handball as the ball ricochets off of Saliba, touching part of his arm on the way through. But he knows little about it. The ball lands directly in the path of Gabriel and he smuggles the ball over the line. Now, I have thought that the ruling was if the ball touches a player's arm in the attacking sense and they gain an advantage from it touching the player's arm, i.e., scoring a goal, the VAR is to intercept and the goal is supposed to be ruled out. We saw that West Ham, Sheffield United. We saw that with the Tottenham and the Man City game a couple of years ago. I think you said something about the ruling changing, Rob, but if you've gained an advantage from the ball hitting a player's hand and the ball landing at your player's feet to score a goal, how is that fair?
Yeah.
How is that fair? Anyway, sorry, I'm
struggling to answer that question.
It annoys me. It annoys me, Rob.
I need to see.
There's no consistency. You know, you look at the game this morning. I don't know whether you would have seen it. Manchester United. McTominay might as well pick the ball up and fucking basketball dribbled it through the penalty box because Southampton were never getting a penalty. He touched the ball 3 times, or not him. Manchester United touched the ball 3 times with their hands inside their own box, and a penalty wasn't given, despite the fact that it went to VAR.
Do you know what? And this is the thing with VAR. You obviously can't see it. One of my earpieces is falling out. Live streaming, one of those things. Yeah, I mean, I quite like sort of knowing why the decision's been made, even if I fundamentally disagree with it. If I've at least heard the conversation that's been had between referee on pitch and video referee, even if they come with a decision that I fundamentally disagree with, if I can hear the explanation, okay, they know more than me. Move on. What was that? Cricket. I was at the Oval on Tuesday, Kennington Oval to watch the 100. And I know people are going to say, but cricket's a slower sport. Well, yeah, but the 100's an accelerated version of cricket. So that's quicker moving. And I quite like the fact that when there is a sort of like umpire to video umpire conversation, you can hear it in the stadium. You can hear the conversation they put up on screens. They put up, the video replay, and they'll explain their reasoning for the decisions being made. And that would be quite handy, I think, because now as you just say, you're sitting there going, why is that decision being made like that? And you're none the wiser. And it may well be that there's a legitimate reason for that decision being made the way it is. It's just that you don't know what it is, and neither do I. And because it's Manchester United, we all sit there and go, typical top 6 bias.
Well, same as Arsenal today, mate, if you want to go down that road.
Well, I haven't seen them, so I mean, I can't really comment until I've seen them. But I know the point.
What we do is we make. I'll tell you what we do. We as fans and as part of this channel, I think we keep an eye on that as this goes forward, Rob, and we have a look, and I'll make a point of checking each match day, each match weekend, for these goals that were disallowed for VAR and to why, because I'd be very interested, or decisions not given, i.e. the penalties today. I'd be very interested to see, as I banged on about it many times last season. The big 6 bias. You called it an unconscious bias. I called it a conscious bias. I don't care. There is something going on. I'd be very interested. The fact that there's been 2 decisions now, or 4 decisions if you want, 3 in the United game, this one in the Arsenal game, that have benefited the top 6.
Very, very. We all love a conspiracy theory, don't we? We all, even myself included, right?
9/11 was perpetrated by the US government, but yeah.
Yeah, but I would be incredibly shocked and disappointed if it was to ever be revealed that there was some big conspiracy between top six clubs and the match officials. I really would. Like I say, I can
I don't
understand.
even think it's between
I
the top
think there
six
is
clubs, Rob.
definitely an.
I think it's between the Premier League and Sky and the top and the referees. I don't think the top six are involved in it in a way that they know about it, but I think there is a conscious there is an effort because they're the ones that bring in the most money for the Premier League and Sky Sports, and that's why.
Yeah, I'll take your point, Ken. I know that there's this thing about they try. I think that the excuse that I've heard is essentially because football, the language can get quite industrial, can't it? Whereas on a cricket pitch or on a rugby pitch, there's a different protocol, if you will, about addressing the match officials. Do you know what I mean? But I do think that's a little bit of an excuse.
Would it not be worth maybe at half time or even at full time or even at some point is that VAR comes out, the VAR that would have made the decision for the game comes out and tells you why they came to the decision that they came to. Let's have VAR being held responsible for making a statement then after a game. Okay, so I want VAR to tell me why Manchester United were not reprimanded and penalties given against them for handling the ball 3 times in their box. Why did you come to that conclusion as a VAR? Let us know as fans what it was that you were looking at, what it was that you interpreted as not being beneficial to Manchester United. Same for the Arsenal goal. Let's have them come out and say after the game, let's have them to talk about any incidences that they were involved in the game that looked to us to be nailed on, shall we say, and let's have them being responsible then. A bit like we have Ref Watch on a Sunday or Monday morning. You have Dermot O'Leary Gallagher, whatever his name is. One of them does Pop Idol or X Factor or Britain's Got Talent. I know that much. But when we have him come on Ref Watch with the two Pratts, the young lady and the ex-footballer, I can't think of their names. But when they come on and they do their bit on a Monday morning, rather than having just Dermot Gallagher there, let's have the VAR guys that were responsible for those decisions not being given, and have them on TV giving their reasons for disallowing or allowing these things to happen.
Yeah. Do you know what, Clips, mate? I've never ever given that a moment's thought. Now Clips has mentioned this, I'm going to be like, do you know what? That's a conspiracy right there.
Could change that name. You could change the name from Morata to Lukaku after he left Everton. Then I'd agree with you.
Ooh, controversy.
Apart from when he plays West Ham, he's a fucking real person when he played against West Ham all the fucking time, bastard.
Did he score against us last season? For Chelsea, he didn't, did he?
Don't care. He's a prick.
Well, you don't like
only a blow-up effigy. He was just a blow-up effigy of Lukaku last season. It's fine.
Oh, God. What's this? Brown paper envelopes filled with cash can go a long way. You may very well say that, Apache. I couldn't possibly comment.
Okay, yeah, he's right.
Anyway, you dodged the question. You dodged the score prediction. I've given mine.
Actually going to go 3-1 West Ham.
Ooh, convincing. What makes you so confident?
I'm not. I just have this feeling. I'm not confident in the slightest, Rob. I just have this feeling. Shit. Red Sox are absolute turd this year, Lawrence. Like, I know they picked up, or was it? I think they might have played Baltimore last night, actually. I think they won 9-8. But the Sox have been absolute dirge this season, to the point that normally normally the Red Sox are my release from a very poor West Ham side. Apart from the last 2 seasons, I've kind of had a very good West Ham side and not had to worry about the baseball. The Red Sox have normally we hit March, and I think, fuck it, I'm not watching West Ham anymore. I'm going to go over to baseball because Red Sox have probably got more chance of doing something. Normally, West Ham are fighting in a relegation battle. So the last couple of years, I've not had to worry. But I know the Stocks this year. I've watched a few of their games. And they've been poor. My God. But then what can I say when it's the same guys that own Liverpool own the Boston Red Sox? So I think it might be that they're concentrating on what Liverpool are doing and not what the Red Sox are doing. But I didn't say that's a
Really?
conspiracy theory for you. Yeah, I do. Listen, they let a young lad by the name of Mookie Betts, one of the best players in baseball at the time that they released him. But because he wanted, if my memory serves, he wanted a 5-year deal at $15 million a year. They were willing to give him a 2-year deal at something like $26 million a year. But obviously, the cash there, although it's $52 million over 2 years, he's looking at 15 over 5. He's obviously, there's more money involved there. He said it wasn't about the money; it was about his longevity and wanting to play for the Red Sox.
Like 50
And
Lingard.
they turned around and said to him, look, it's 2 years or it's nothing. We trade you. They ended up trading the best player in baseball at the time away because they didn't think that his contributions over 5 years would have warranted a 5-year contract. They thought it was a 2-year contract. It was good enough because that was what his productivity was gonna come at, and they ended up letting him go, Rob. And the season that they let him go, they let him go to the LA Dodgers. The LA Dodgers won the World Series, won the baseball championship. Best player and the MVP of the World Series was Mookie Betts, the guy that they let go. And he continues to put up solid numbers 2 years down the line. Yes, okay, arguments can be had that if he doesn't perform next year or the year after, then they were right in doing so. This is why I didn't think that Liverpool would give Mo Salah the big money contract at 350 grand a week that he wanted. I thought that they'd turn around and go, no, we don't think you're worth that. We don't think your productivity is going to be there for a 3 or a 4 year contract that I think he's now got. And they would have sold him. As it is, they've let Mane go, which obviously was another huge a huge draw on their resources, on their wages. They let him go, which freed up the wages to be able to give Salah his big money contract. I think they realised that there would have been fucking hell to pay if they'd let Salah go. Larry, I actually have somewhere behind me up there. I actually have a Chicago White Sox jersey that was given to me by someone. I actually have up there a signed Kurt Schilling jersey as well. Larry, you're probably the only person that's going to be in this chat that will actually probably know who and what Kurt Schilling actually means for the Red Sox. Not necessarily to the state of Rhode Island, which he very nearly bankrupts at the state of Rhode Island. You there, Rob? You seem to have gone.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
I'm here.
He very nearly bankrupted the state of Rhode Island. He took a lot of cash off of companies and the state itself to start a games a computer games venture, which went absolutely tits up, and he lost everything. And that meant that everyone that had given him the money, from normal people like you and I, to big companies, to the state itself, lost millions and millions of dollars. So So yeah, he nearly bankrupt the state of Rhode Island. Actually, quite scary, despite the fact that he's probably one of the bigger names in Red Sox history. But we're not here to talk about Red Sox. We're here to talk about West Ham. 3-1.
You just spent 5 bloody minutes talking about it.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I love it when you go off on these tangents. I'm never quite sure where it's.
Listen, I don't even know where it's going, Rob. I don't even know where we're going to end up when I start. Listen, I open my mouth, words fall out. I have no control over that. It's just, that's why I'm made for YouTube. I just, blah, blah, and it's game on.
It is what it is. I'm mindful of the fact that you've obviously got a pub that you've got to sort of attend to some spinning of the disc duties, haven't you? Mind you, I'm showing you. You don't
evening. I don't
karaoke.
I press play on. It's karaoke evening this evening, so we're going to have a bit of a sing song. I might sing a bit of I'll tell you what. I'm not even married, Rob, and I'm getting divorced. She carries on. I'm not even married, and we're going to end up divorced.
I reckon she'll get the kids, the pub.
Oh, she's welcome with the kids. That's fine. I won't have that headache.
She'll get the money. You'll be left with nothing. You know.
Mate, I don't have anything now. Actually, as long as I can keep these behind me.
What's that with you?
As long as I can keep this. Phil Parks, the signed shirt, the Julian Dix shirt. There is a Julian Dix signed picture behind me as well. As long as I can keep them, I'm all right.
Right. Before we clear off, just a little bit of advertising, and it's just to keep you guys that are there abreast of what's going to happen in the coming. So we've obviously got the match review, which will take place on Monday. I should be back home by then, so I don't know what time we're going to do it. It'll probably be in the evening, do you reckon, Duke?
Yeah, probably. I do need to talk to you about Tuesday. I'm still doing it. I'm going to be there. I might just not be here, but I will be there.
Okay. Well, Tuesday, as the reference is there, ladies and gentlemen, is the legend, and that name is bandied around a hell of a lot to people that don't deserve it. But this gentleman, I can assure you, does deserve that tag. Tony Carr. 43 years this gentleman spent at West Ham United in various capacities, from a part-time youth coach to the academy director, finishing as an ambassador before the club and Mr. Carr parted companies in, I think what it's probably fair to say, it was slightly disappointing circumstances for Mr. Carr. He's also, you may or may not be aware, he's got a book out that he wrote about his time at West Ham, and I've actually got a copy. Duke's got a copy. I'm ploughing my way through it, and it's an excellent read. Tony will obviously talk about the book when he's on the stream, but if I can point anyone in the direction, if any of you guys like reading entertainment and you like real life books, autobiographies, get your teeth into this, because it's real life, and it's our club, it's West Ham, and it goes right down into real depths of the club, and it probably reveals a lot of things that didn't even happen. Great book, really is a good read. I've just remembered something.
Go on.
And I've uploaded the factoids. We haven't done the factoids.
Yeah, do a factoid. Go on, I can start karaoke later.
Have you got enough time?
Yeah, go on.
All right, okay, right. Okay, so factoid number 1. We have lost our last 4 Premier League matches, last having a worse run in April 2017 under Slaven Bilic, when we suffered a run of 5 defeats in a row. Manager David Moyes hasn't lost 5 consecutive Premier League games since a run of 6, ending in October 2005 with Everton. Factoid number 2. Aston Villa have lost 3 of their 5 Premier League matches when scoring first, winning 1 and drawing 1, since Steven Gerrard took charge of his first game last November. No team has lost more Premier League games after scoring first than the Villains, with 5 level with Southampton. Factoid number 3. Aston Villa have won just one of their last 12 Premier League games against us, where they drew 5 and lost 6. and they are winless in their last 8 since a 1-0 win in May 2015. Factoid number 4. We remain the only Premier League side to have both failed to score a goal or managed to pick up a single point this season. In the English top flight history, only 4 sides have ever lost their opening 4 matches of a campaign, while also failing to score in each defeat. And they were Derby County in 1899 to 1900, and no, I wasn't there. Stoke City in 1906-7 season, Preston North End in 1924-25 season, and Crystal Palace in 2017-2018. Factoid number 5. We have lost 7 of our last 9 Premier League away games, winning 1 and drawing 1, including 6 of the last 7. Our only victory in this run was against already relegated Norwich City in May, which was a 4-0 victory, which I was very lucky enough to be in. Factoid number 6. Aston. Hang on. No, come out of that because I can't.
You guys
I
still
can't hear a word. I can now, yeah.
Did I cut out completely?
Yeah.
Was I talking to myself then?
What, when you were silent? Yeah.
How much of the factoids did you get? Have I dropped out or has he dropped out? I don't know. He might have pressed the wrong button. I might have pressed him. Oh, no, it was him. It is him. I thought for a moment, I thought it was my internet dicking around. No, hang on. Oh.
No, it was you.
I was bringing it back and then you pressed it. So.
No, it was you. I refreshed my screen and it kicked me out. I was going to show you that we got to, not that one. That's where we were before you cut out.
Oh, right. Okay. So Aston Villa are looking to win back-to-back home Premier League games within a single season. Hang on. Let me just get rid of that. For the first... Go away! For the first time since January 2021 under Dean Smith, under Steven Gerrard, they have followed up each of their 4 previous Premier League victories at Villa Park with a defeat in their next home league game after each win. Where am I now? Right, so that is factoid number 7. This is our 1000th Premier League game. History will be made. We have won 335, drew 253, and lost 411. We are the 9th different side to reach this milestone, and the second who didn't compete in the competition's inaugural campaign after Newcastle. We have lost more of our first 1,000 than any of the other previous 8 sides. Factoid number 8. We have won our last 2 Premier League away games against Aston Villa, which is as many as in our previous 19 visits with 9 draws and 8 defeats. We have won these games 3-1 and 4-1, having not scored more than twice in any of our previous 34 league games at Villa Park. And last but not least, factoid number 9, we have won each of our last 4 Premier League games against Aston Villa, only ever winning 5 consecutively against Blackburn 2006 to 2008, Southampton 2018 to 2020, and Watford 2019 to 2022. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your, I did a little banner for it, so I'll just get it up because I took time to do it, Forged Funhouse of Fascinating Football Factoids. I thank you.
I'll tell you what, I'll be perfectly honest with you now. There's no hope that you would have got me and Andy doing that last night. There's no way in the world. There's no way in the world that those 6 words were getting anywhere near coming out of my mouth last night. It would have just gone, that's what it would have sounded like. I had no doubt.
Hey, Sahil. Right, well, he's turned up just as we're about to clear off because you've got your karaoke to get on with.
Mr. Sahil's turned up on maybe Mr. Sahil, I don't know. I was just saying. Sahil, I haven't seen you for a while. It's been a long time.
Clips.
Maybe Sahil's clips.
Maybe your clips. Maybe I'm clips.
Hey, listen, I can just listen right now, Rob. Right now, okay. You're just about managing to get your account up and running on your bloody 1G Wi-Fi that you've got. Let alone trying to run yours and Clips' accounts off of one phone. Right, it ain't happening.
I've got a gerbil over there in little sort of like the little wheel, and he's powering.
You can't call her that.
Not the missus, the other gerbil, the mother-in-law. Very nice. You don't want to see what she's just done to me. Right, okay. Before we disappear, ladies and gentlemen, please. No, she's horrible. But she can only count to one. Please don't forget to donate to the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. There is the Just Giving link. They're doing an awful lot of good work in the Newham Borough area, trying to put food on the plate of the needy in the Newham Borough area. So please, if you wouldn't mind, consider lending them your support. I know that times are tough for all of us, but this is a charity that's trying to help the really, really struggling amongst us. So if you could, that would be very good of you indeed, and we thank you for that. Please also don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Duke, what are we, mate?
Coming to the boil nicely, Robert. I think tomorrow we will see the first points on the board. We will move off the bottom of the league. We're fucking massive.
Let's do it. Come on, you irons.